Hi, I'm Zach. I'm going to give you just a quick tour of how you can set up and customize Warp to make it work for you. So there's a ton of stuff you can customize in Warp. I'm not going to be able to show you all of it. I'm just going to show you some of the things that I like to customize. The first thing that I will often customize is Warp's theme to give it the look and feel that I want. So to get a choice of theme, you can hit Command P. You can type themes. Theme, and you'll get your open theme picker. There's a shortcut for this too. In the theme picker, it's pretty simple. You just pick a theme and it will kind of show you. It'll just update it for you. I like this default one a lot, Idberry, so I'm gonna keep that. Actually, I'll go with Phenomenon for a second now. Okay. The second thing that I like to customize in Warp is actually where the input is. And Warp is unique in this respect. Compared to other command lines. So the default, I forget what our default is, but there's three different modes you can have. One, which I have right here, is that the input starts at the top, and as you enter commands, it kind of like goes down to the bottom and then stays there, and everything scrolls above it. This is kind of how a normal terminal or command line works. I like it. You also can have Warp feel a little bit more like a chat interface by pinning the input to the bottom, and that means that it will always stay down here. This is actually how Warp originally launched our input, and everything flows above it. I find this to be pretty cool too. And then there's one other very unique way of having the input just for Warp, which is called pin input to the top, which keeps, it's like it says, it keeps the input at the top, and as you enter commands, they go below it. I don't use this. I find it to be kind of crazy, but it is pretty cool. And from an ergonomic perspective, keeps your neck in a good spot. Okay. Now let's say I want to configure a bunch more stuff. What I'll do is I'll hit Command P again. Always think Command P if you need to find something in Warp. I'm going to type settings. I'm going to go into our settings here, and I'll show you a few other things that you might want to configure. So one is in the AI area. If you don't want to use AI at all, it's super easy to just turn AI off in Warp. I don't recommend it. AI is what makes Warp super powerful, so keep that on. There's various AI features that you can control. I think one of the most important things, though, that you'll want to control is what are the autonomy settings for your agent and what are the models that it uses. So by default, we're going to pick what we think is the best model for you, and just happens today we think that's Cloud 4 Sonnet. We have a different model that you can use for planning. The default there today happens to be O3. This is really important here. So you can choose how much autonomy the agent runs with by setting these different permission levels across code diffs, file reading, planning, and command execution. I tend to have very permissive command execution, and I like to look at the code diffs as they're generated. I let Warp always read files. I don't use the planning feature, but you can tweak this to your liking. And you can also make sure that there are certain commands that Warp always asks for your input on. So there's a deny list here, and you also can configure this same sort of setting for all your MCP servers. So that's a really important one. Just going to call out one or two other settings that are interesting to get set up. So to get the most out of Warp while coding, you're going to want to index your code bases. When you CD into a code base for the first time, Warp will prompt you to do that. But you can also at any time see all of your code bases that are indexed over here, and you can also index a new folder by clicking this button. The Teams tab will let you invite and work with your teammates in Warp. This is super powerful if you want to use Warp Drive, which is where you can store and share prompts, templated commands, notebooks, environment variables, all sorts of stuff. I'll do a different session on that. And then finally, there's all sorts of stuff you can configure just with look and feel of Warp. So you can find that under Appearance. You can customize your app icon. I find that to be very fun. So anyhow, tons of stuff you can play with in here for look and feel of Warp, what font it uses, all of that stuff. There's too many to go into right now. One last thing, you can customize your key bindings. This is very, very useful if you have muscle memory. You can, if you want, turn on Vim mode for the command editor. So all sorts of stuff you can do. Give it a shot. Let us know how it goes. Thanks.